We're going to open the meeting on May 15th at 10:01 a.m. Let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. People could stand and remove their hats or whatever. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, call to order and roll call.
Just go down the list.
That's right here, right?
No, this list is fine.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Timothy Caton here. Andrew Ekstrom.
Present.
Pauline
Brodo.
Brodo.
Here.
Elizabeth Collins.
Here.
And our director,
I'm
we
here.
have to do that.
No.
And assistant director. We don't have to do them?
No,
Okay. All right. Approval of the minutes of April 24th, 2024. Is there an emotion?
Motion to approve.
Is there any discussion? All
There
approved?
is one, but I just got this part of the, it's not cosmic, I'm just gonna let it be small. That's okay.
Okay, hearing none, then is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So voted, so moved, or whatever. Okay, all right. Approval of the financial reports. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the financial reports?
we'll do one at a time. The check warrant first,
Okay. Okay.
so a motion for the check warrant.
All right, a motion for the check warrant of April 24th.
I have a question. Is this on the transcription account? Is that what you're on?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're on this.
yeah.
Okay, I have a question. I wasn't around, I had been ill at that time. But a question I wanted to know was, when the police department came, and they were here for many, many meetings, whose budget did that come out of?
We didn't pay for that. That was their service to us. And Kyle Fernandez is assigned. He was notified of the meeting, but if he's on patrol, he's not coming. There does not come out of our budget
Okay.
for anything for the
Yeah,
police department.
I didn't know at that time, and I wasn't well enough to.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yes. Check 5749. What a shame.
That's a comment, right, Pauline?
Yes. And is
That
that
was-
the
that-
full amount?
That is the full amount that went to that person in the settlement. However, there's other things that, in the settlement that we will pay for, such as a tub cut.
Again, what a shame.
I agree. Any other questions? Okay, did I do a motion in a second yet?
We haven't had a motion.
Oh, that's right, not yet, okay. We're going down.
So we need a motion and a second on the general ledger, which is what we just talked about.
Okay, can I have a motion on the, accept the general ledger?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, so moved. Okay, accountants report? Is that going to the same thing?
Yep,
Okay, accountants reports, if available.
it is available. You have a copy.
Okay,
Sent
so-
in Ewald.
yep. Oh, yeah.
So motion and a
Okay, is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
All right, second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hearing, okay, any opposed? So moved.
Before you take the vote next time, you're going to ask for discussion.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're
Okay,
talking to our town moderator. Come on.
yeah. All right. So now,
Yep,
what are we on to?
MMDT.
MMDT statement as of April 24th,
2024. And it is a-
2024.
You also received a copy of that.
That's right, and everybody received a copy of that.
Motion to place on file.
There's a motion to place on file.
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. And a second, oh, no, any opposed? So moved. All right.
We had nothing from that. There was no checks, nothing got passed, so there was no separate. Correct.
Okay, I guess we're on to Attleboro Housing Authority.
It's good to be here. I just want to introduce myself to the board and to the residents that are assembled. In your board packet, you have my resume. You have some information about things that Attleboro can bring to the table. Just a little history. Back in, I think it was 2013 or 2014, there was a move afoot in the state of Massachusetts to, regionalize housing authorities. And, it was Governor Patrick at the time whose idea it was to kind of regionalize everything. There was a lot of pushback on the part of local boards to that. And, it ultimately did not pass. It was not a thing that they moved forward. However, they had to get a little bit out of the deal. So as a result of that, the state, implemented all sorts of new audits, agreed upon procedures and, annual plans and all sorts of things that if you've been on the board for a while, you know what that is. However, over time, housing authorities are finding it, really difficult to hire executive directors, especially the smaller ones that, have very limited, hours available and so forth. So what you're seeing throughout Massachusetts is, you're seeing regionalization, happen organically. It's kind of happening on its own without any sort of, state mandates. The Attleboro Housing Authority, I guess you could say, is a moderate-sized authority. We're not huge like a Boston or a Fall River, but we're not tiny either like a Plainville or, this housing authority. We have 431 units. We also have a housing choice voucher program and a Massachusetts rental voucher program. We have a staff of, we have a total staff of 22 people. We have 9 maintenance folks, and we have 11 admin people in the office. We have been asked and we've applied to do management agreements in several smaller housing authorities. I've been in Attleboro since 2018. I inherited Seekonk. They were already part of Attleboro. And then we took on Plainville. Plainville was formerly managed by the Mansfield Housing Authority. She had staffing issues in Mansfield where she had to restaff after people retired and left. She didn't feel that she could adequately oversee Plainville, so she approached me and had me make a presentation to the Plainville board. Plainville, subsequently retained Attleboro to manage them. Sharon was a different story. Sharon was in a little bit of difficulty, and we were asked by the, then DHCD to come in to kind of stabilize Sharon, which we have done. We've had Sharon for about the past year and a half, and things have really turned around there. So Attleboro is in a position now where we feel that, we can take over one more authority. I was approached, or, several housing authorities, I guess, were approached by EOHLC now to think about Westport. What's happening in Westport is Somerset now oversees Westport. Lucia is going to be retiring at the end of June. It's my understanding that, that the management agreement, with Somerset also ends on June 30th. So now you folks, will need another management agreement. Attleboro is willing to do it. I've attached some key staff members that are on the team, that can assist. With our management fees coming in from the different agencies, we are in a position where we can hire an additional staff member, which, won't be 100, probably won't be, 100%, down here in Westport, but a lot of their time will be spent down here. I'm still kind of working that out. I have some time to do that. I think Attleboro brings a lot to the table. One thing you may be concerned about, and I understand that, is it's about depending on the traffic, it's about a 35-minute, drive from my office in Attleboro, down here. So we're not, we're not nearby technically. But we have the staff, I think that we can devote to it. As far as the board is concerned, I understand that, at least 3 of you are brand new. I've worked with, a total now of 20 board members. I deal with all different kinds of personalities. I deal with people who don't want to be at meetings at all and are doing this, when's this gonna end? And I deal with people who have a lot of questions, so I deal with a bunch of different people. I like to educate people as far as, what's going on with the housing authority, what kind of shape we're in, what we have coming up. I also engage with the residents quite frequently. In all of my managed agencies, I have monthly meetings with the residents, just to gauge their input, find out what's on their mind, find out what we can do better, find out, really what's going on, like, an ear to the ground type thing. So I do that, and I'm also heavily involved in, in the different towns that, that we're in. I introduce myself to the select boards in all the towns. I've got a really good relationship with local officials, with the legislative delegations. So that, that's something that I want to spend some time with. We are well thought of in the state as a housing authority, Attleboro. We were encouraged to give Westport serious thought, even though we're, at least a half an hour away. So I think that we bring a lot to the table. It's a well-run housing authority financially. It would be a basic management agreement for as long as you folks would want. And I believe management agreements can be anywhere from 1 year to 5 years, whatever you feel, comfortable with. What Seekonk and Plainville did was they gave us 5 years. Sharon gave me 2 years, just because they wanted to keep the option open of having their own director down the road. Although I've been told since then that they're really happy with the way things are being run in Sharon, so they don't foresee them hiring a new director. They will keep us on when the 2 years are up. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board has. I guess the process that would play out from here is, you would talk amongst yourselves, and then you would decide if you want us to come on board or not. If you do, you would vote to enter into a management agreement. I would then have to go back to Attleboro and get the Attleboro board to agree to it. And which I don't foresee there to be any problem there. There's also a new regulation or some new rule that just came out a couple of months ago where if you have a tenant organization in your housing authority and you are contemplating going into a management agreement, I have one in Attleboro.
Yeah, we don't,
So I have to have a meeting with the tenant association board and just inform them of what I'm contemplating, and then hear their viewpoints on it, which again, knock on, whatever this is, knock on wood, I have a decent relationship with the resident association. So I'm not anticipating any problems. It would be a basic agreement, it would not be an agreement with a management plan attached to it, because it's not a troubled housing authority. So it would just be a straight management agreement. It's pretty cut and dry as far as, what the numbers are. The fee accountants can kind of plug it into the formula. You kind of need a mathematical degree to figure out how to calculate a management fee or whatever, but, we've done several of them now, so it's not a problem. As far as operations are concerned, we like to keep things consistent among all of our housing authorities. So, there would be certain things that I would like to change, certain things that the board will be fully informed of. If you do allow us to come on board, as of July, I will let you know ahead of time what those would be, but I think that, we would probably change fee accountants, because our fee accountant that we have now does all four of the other housing authorities, so we want to keep that consistent. And we're also thinking of, implementing a housing authority software package that we use in all the other housing authorities as well, although that hasn't been firmly decided yet. There's, I think we bring a lot to the table. I think we can do a good job for the residents and for you. And, that's really all I have. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. Go ahead.
You said one of the things, if you are elected to take on this position, and you normally, at your other housing authority, meet with residents,
Yes.
and how often do you do that?
I try to do it once a month.
Once a month?
I try to do it once a month, although I will admit, it's easy for me to do it in Sharon, in Plainville, and in Seekonk, because it's all together in, one location. It's more of a challenge I'm in Attleboro, because I have 7 different locations. So sometimes I have to combine the meetings, and sometimes residents don't like that, particularly the residents that have to go from their development to where the meetings are being held. But
Okay, the other part of my question is, when you're meeting once a month with the residents, what comes out first to you? What do the residents want to know, and what do you want them to take back from this meeting?
Well, I think that the most important thing is, I think the residents want to know that if they have a concern or they have a problem, that they're listened to. And I get maybe 15 calls a week from, different, folks throughout the portfolio. And, usually it's, something along the lines of, hey, I asked for a work order Monday and it's now Thursday and I haven't seen anybody. Or, when are you gonna take care of this? or, you know, there's a pothole in the entrance that needs to be done. You know, things along those lines. Every so often, you know, residents get into disagreements with each other. And, we have to step in and try to mediate. I've got a resident services coordinator that, is very good, you know, at, you know, sort of helping me out with, you know, with those kinds of things. But it's, you know, it's just a, you know, it's a time, the meetings are a time for me just to hear what, you know, what is on people's minds.
Right.
And, you know, most of the time, if it's a problem with a staff member, or, you know, if it's an issue with a work order, it can easily be resolved. Sometimes people have ideas, you know, hey, why don't you why don't you move the dumpster from over here to over here? You know, sometimes it's, you know, something like that, you know, we can talk about and things like that. But, I just think it's, you know, the residents wanting to be heard and wanting to be, you know, wanting the feeling that, you know, that there's somebody listening to, you know, their concerns.
Good ideas.
Do you, you personally won't be here month to month. You won't be the director you'll be the director, but somebody will be here directing.
I will be here on, at least twice a week.
Okay,
At the beginning. I have a deputy director who does all of the recertifications, which I understand we don't have to worry about until next May. I've got a resident services coordinator that, you know, can handle resident issues. And I'm also gonna have two part-time people that will also be here on a rotating basis. So there, you know, there will be coverage every single day in the office, except maybe Fridays. I don't do office coverage at any of the managed agencies on Fridays.
now, speaking of that, what is the coverage gonna be, you know, I mean, do you have a set time frame, or do you have, you know, mornings or afternoons?
We have to get together as a staff, and we need to determine what it's gonna be. I understand, if I recall correctly right now, it's, you're here 5 days a week.
Correct.
Sometimes in the mornings and sometimes in the afternoons.
All mornings right now.
All mornings, okay. So it might be something where we do, I think the allocation is
16 hours.
16 hours a week. So it might be something like, we could set it up the way that it's set up now. Or we could do, taking Fridays out of the equation, we could do, 9 to 3, 3 days a week. We could, what we do in Plainville, which is comparable to the size of Westport.
Yep.
Plainville is only 40 units, Westport is 48. Plainville, we cover the office Tuesdays 8 to 4, Thursdays 8 to 4, and Wednesdays 9 to 3 with the resident services coordinator. And our maintenance team is on site Mondays and half of Fridays. So there's always somebody there in Plainville. We always have somebody in Sharon. I cover Sharon 1 day a week myself. And then Seekonk, and I hate to say this because I'm gonna jinx myself, Seekonk kind of runs itself. Seekonk is, I don't have any problems in Seekonk whatsoever. The residents are great. The infrastructure is good. I've got a strong part-time staff in Seekonk, so, outside of the board meetings, I don't even have to, watch what I say, I don't have to give Seekonk a second thought. That's, with Westport being new, I'm gonna have to be here to learn the people, to understand the concerns, just to get the lay of the land with the office and things like that. But I don't anticipate that it would be a huge heavy lift, considering what we've already done.
Last month, you made me laugh because you said that you wanted to meet the maintenance crew. One guy.
Oh, I know,
Okay.
I know. We don't have anybody in Plainville. We had, when we took over, the full-time person in Plainville retired. And then it took us 6 months to hire somebody new. And then he only lasted a few months. And then we went, so the Attleboro team, you know, was essentially covering Plainville. We have a maintenance supervisor that will be assigned here, that will sort of oversee the maintenance person here. And this individual is, you know, is a go-getter. He's 24 years old. He's very aggressive. He's very good with technology. He wants to learn. I think he's got a future in the industry. And I'm sort of mentoring him along by giving him additional responsibilities. And he's done a great job kind of overseeing the, you know, maintenance teams of our, you know, assorted agencies. So it's worked out pretty well.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're gonna consider keeping the maintenance man here, keeping him here?
Oh, of course, yeah, that's not gonna change.
Okay, I mean, I don't know of him, I've never met him. Apparently, I think he's doing a pretty good job.
He's an employee of
But
the
he's an
Westport
employee.
Housing Authority.
Yeah, I think, you know, he knows everybody, knows everything, and I think it would be in
Yeah,
your best interest.
I have not met him yet, but he's absolutely going to stay. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the good news with him is if he needs help, there'll be a team behind him in Attleboro where we can send somebody down.
And then I'm sure with all the maintenance schedules, whether it's kitchens or painting or whatever the maintenance requires, I'm sure having your experience, you're well aware of all the
Yeah,
bidding processes and all that stuff.
Right, there's a new state system, where all of the, state-funded projects get implemented and done like that, so I'm well versed on that.
And the prevailing wage has to be paid.
Prevailing
Do you
wage,
check
all that
any of that?
What's that?
Do you check any of the prevailing wages with contractors periodically?
They're obligated to, if you're working on a state-funded project, they're obligated to pay the wage.
That's correct.
And then at the beginning of the project, they are to request what those wages are from the state. And then all of that gets uploaded onto the CapUp system. And then as the project goes on, they are to provide us with certified payroll reports, and which are, viewed as part of an audit the next time we get audited. And then what they'll do is they will take the wage sheets and they'll make sure that people on the, on the job are getting paid
Correct.
what the wage calls for.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Just to let you know, we had something like that. David's been the only one here for a long time, and he does a superb job. He's fantastic. And it was an executive director before Lucia, and we had some pretty big problems that David needed help for. And that executive director was very good with us. I mean, she had men at her authority that knew how to do everything, bing, bing,
What
bing,
authority was that?
Fairhaven.
Fairhaven.
Okay.
And they would come down and work with David, and everything worked out really well.
You're speaking of Chris Ann Sheedy?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, all right. Well, I've got some good news for you on that front, because,
what?
when I said that I'm looking for a part-time person, she reached out to me, she retired a
Yeah.
couple of years back, and she's looking for a few hours a week here and
For
there.
her,
Good.
So
Good.
she, I don't know how she called me in Attleboro, and, I told her that depending upon how things shake out down here, I may be able to use her in that capacity. capacity.
I'm happy for
She
the,
wants a very, she wants a strictly part-time schedule. She wants no oversight responsibility,
yeah,
you know, whatsoever. So that might be something that will happen, you know, during the summer at some point.
yeah,
But I'll have more to say on that
Okay.
as time goes on.
and just one more question. Maybe you can't answer this question, but we have a lot going on in Westport, excuse my throat. We have a lot going on in Westport now with water, sewer, and we have Mr. Lanier, who's on the Affordable Housing Trust. And do we have any idea when he will be able to sit at the table?
I personally do not. If it's any consolation, I'm dealing with a similar situation
Okay,
up in Sharon. There was a miscommunication somewhere along the line several years ago, but we actually had a woman in Sharon who was sitting on the board as the state appointee, who was never formally appointed by the state. So, you know, now we're going through the process to get her onboarded. And I found that if you email consistently, and you involve EOHLC in the process, things will move along. You know, I could, I mean, I'm not, you know, until, you know, I don't want to do anything until the management agreement takes effect.
right,
But if the process is underway and you've gotten contacted and there's been, you know, I think there's a survey or, you know, some sort of questionnaire of some kind, you remember that? Okay, and you've done all that? Okay, so the process is underway, and, you know, in typical state fashion, we just have to wait until the bureaucratic stuff plays itself out, but hopefully not much longer.
Paul, if I can just fill Ms. Collins in on that. I received a note today, or this week, from Paul Schmidt. He's also working on it. I've actually been pushing for it because I know Mr. Lanier is ready. He's done all the paperwork. All the paperwork has been submitted to DHCD. So it's going to be Paul and Michael who are going to have to push DHCD forward because
yeah,
they're sitting on it.
yeah.
These are supposed to be governor's appointments, but I think they all come from DHCD.
So hopefully not much longer.
Okay.
Okay, okay, very good. On the board with that? Okay. Director's report.
Pleasure of the board.
Hmm?
It's the pleasure of the board. Motion to accept and put it on file.
Okay.
Thank you
Is-
for all that information, that
animal.
was helpful.
No, for us.
Okay.
Yeah, director's report.
Yep,
You're right.
director's report. Is there a motion to put it on file?
They've all received it in their folders.
You've all received it in your folders. Is there a motion to put that on file?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, so moved. Okay.
New business.
New business. I'll start. There's what they call a CPC appointment with the town of Westport. That committee, that
Community preservation.
the Community Preservation Committee. They, there's an appointment from this board to sit on that. And I would be happy to be appointed, and I would volunteer for that, if we can get that in the form of a motion.
I was on that board before it became a board. So I was on that board for 23 years. Then I got ill and now I'm back again, huh, Henry? Yeah, it's a good board.
Okay, is
I
there a
enjoyed
motion
it.
Motion,
to accept me? Second?
second?
You can't second your own motion.
Second?
Second.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No discussion? Sorry, I keep doing that backwards. I'm new. Anyhow.
All right, we'll write it out for you.
All right, so that's all set. All right, and then I have Westport Police Department.
Kyle, anything to tell us, anything new, anything we should be aware of in town?
No, nothing's really, I mean, business as usual. Nothing really that's, would be of concern. You guys, I know you guys were asking about the sewer and stuff, I believe the town just had a vote on all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, went down
I,
pretty seriously.
so, but as far as the business of the Westport Police Department regarding you guys, nothing to report. I'm sorry, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing.
Just, I want you to get to know my van out there, that's all. All right, next thing, old business.
I don't have anything.
All right, nothing under old business. So, commissioners' comments?
You can ask them if they have comments.
Anybody have any comments?
Commissioners' comments?
What's that?
Commissioners' comments? Do you have anything?
No, I think I've gotten enough comments, and good ones to boot.
Okay. Tenants' comments? Go ahead, ma'am.
I just want to tell the new, the hopefully new executive director, we don't have a tenant organization, we have a tenant on the board, so
Right.
there's really no real, but I appreciate your positivity that you're bringing in, and I hope that you do get on the board, come in. I hope you voted in. There were a
No.
lot of positive things, I like what you heard, I like what I heard.
Next meeting.
And I like what you presented.
Excellent, excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments from the tenants?
Did I ask a question from the floor?
Yep.
Well, all in, when the dust settles, all the contracts are done, how many units will be under your purview?
How many total units?
Yeah.
If someone has a calculator, 431 in Attleboro, 95 in Sharon, 80 in Seekonk, 48 in Westport, 40 in Plainville. 4, 9, 14, 22, 26, 30, 704.
Good work.
And you're the prime director for all of it?
Correct.
You personally, Paul?
Correct.
Okay.
I go to.
You're answering for it all?
I go to all the board meetings, I answer to the boards.
Okay.
I do all the reporting, I interact with the state. I don't do recertification, I don't do like the recertifications and things like that, we have staff for that. But I sort of run all the projects, I do the human resources, I do the tenant interaction, all of that.
And you work directly with the board?
Yes.
So the board will have your phone number?
I have 20, right now I've got 20 board members
Okay.
that I
Okay.
answer to.
I have another,
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm surprised that Foxborough and Walpole didn't take Sharon, take the town of Sharon,
It's the third Wednesday. I don't have a
that
calendar.
you guys did.
Third Wednesday. I can get it for you.
It's entirely up
I will.
to the housing, to the, the executive directors of the respective authorities. It's totally within their purview to say, you know what, I have enough on my plate in Walpole. I don't want any other issues.
Yeah.
Or, I don't have the staff
You
to
did
do it,
nearby
or,
towns, I'm surprised you didn't
Right.
take them.
right, it's
Yeah.
it is becoming, more and more common
Yeah.
for it to be, sort of spread out. We like to keep it close, but, Plainville and Seton are
What's that?
close.
I didn't put anything down,
But,
because I didn't know if you
you know,
wanted to
it's,
change
you
it.
know, it's, very doable.
Out of common courtesy, I wish you wouldn't talk while the tenants are talking. Thank you.
Okay? All right, I'm gonna make just one comment. I apologize for that, I don't normally, but I was just discussing, asking a question when the next meeting, so we all be aware. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing. I'm apologizing. You won't.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, next meeting to be determined is, normally it's the third Wednesday, which would be June 19th at 10 a.m. Everybody good with that? That's a holiday, huh?
Oh, yeah, June 19th is,
Okay, so now what do we do under holidays?
you can go anywhere you want. You can go the Wednesday before or the Wednesday after.
Well, let's see, what's the 12th? Oh,
Probably want to do the Wednesday before, so that,
I can't do the 12th.
okay?
okay, how about the 26th?
Yep.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Good, Paul? Good, good? Andrew, good? Okay?
That's good.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for attending, everybody.